Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So, happy Labor Day for those of you guys that are in the US. I wasn't planning on streaming today, but you know what? I have some free time, so why not? Let's talk about what's going on with Bitcoin and crypto for this new month, what to expect later this week, and why there is a massive bounce, and why it could actually happen this month, which is a historically bad month for Bitcoin. All right, let's do it, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are starting out the day, unfortunately, a little bit lower. 109. Not a great place to be, but not a bad place to be either. Because those of you guys that watched my video yesterday know that even though we're at 109, ETH is like 4,400, Sol is 200. Hey, still looking good compared to even prices a month or two ago, right? So we haven't lost all gains, although it does seem like for the last week or so, things are kind of weak. And we are entering September. A lot of people worried about September. So let's get to that. This week, okay, obviously the U.S. market is closed today. Tomorrow, we don't have a lot of big macro stuff. But on Wednesday, people will be looking at the beige book to see what the Fed is thinking. And you have some jobless claims on Thursday. But the big thing is the unemployment report that's coming out on Friday. I guess both of those are important. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we'll have some macro stuff to worry about, okay? And we're in those situations where I think we turn back to normal. We're not in bizarre world where the market does the opposite. So actually, I think in these cases, we want the report to come in decent. We don't want them to come in horribly. Horribly, you would figure that gives the Fed more reasons to cut. But since the September cut is already baked in, it doesn't seem like we need to go in that direction. But I guess we'll see. And if they come in line with the expectation, that'll be good. But if like the jobs report shows that the jobs went down tremendously, we didn't hire that much last month, then it could definitely sway markets. So those are the three macro stuff to worry about. And last week, in case you're wondering, the inflow was negative for both Bitcoin and Ethereum. Although, the good news is BlackRock still decided to buy. Others may have sold. For example, BlackRock bought 24.6 million. Fidelity sold 66.2 million. See, that's a big difference. And if you look at Ethereum, the total outflow was 165 million. And others sold, but BlackRock didn't. So I guess that's the good news. The caveat is those that understand will still continue to accumulate. And BlackRock is definitely accumulating. And that's not really a good thing. But short term it is for markets. Long term, no one really wants BlackRock to be dominating both Bitcoin or ETH or any markets, right? But they are definitely still acquiring and not selling. Now, for September, you could see a lot of people worry about September. I asked ChatGPT to confirm, not only for crypto, but for stocks. Stocks also, historically, September is one of the weakest months. And then you could see September for Bitcoin right here. A lot of red, but okay, we had 2 years, the last 2 years. 2023 wasn't that great either. 2024 obviously got better towards the end of the year, but leading up to September wasn't great either. But hey, we pulled out a green month last month, even though it started out rough and then we picked up. And same thing in 2023, which wasn't a great year, like I said. So does it have to end in red? Does it have to go down? No. It was the same thing last year. Last year in 2024, after coming off of August, our August was pretty similar to last August. You can see August has now become a pretty red month. Okay, there's a lot of red now. Last 4 years, August was red. You know, coming off of a red month, there's a high chance that we could turn green. Look at 2023, we had a red month, turned green. 2024, red month, turned green. Right now, we're in green. Let's see. Let's see. And it's not just based on that, obviously. There are other reasons why. It's not just hope or fate or whatever. There are a lot of things happening. Let's not forget that rate cut is coming this month. The FOMC meeting is happening this month. Okay? And we're like 80 plus 90% in terms of getting a rate cut. That could definitely move markets in a good way. Right? So that's the biggest catalyst that we have that's coming up this month. We do have a rate cut that's coming, and that's huge. We haven't had a rate cut for a long time, like a year now, maybe a little bit less, but it's been a while. It's been a while. It gets things rolling. And then, you know, exchange reserves are still low, dirt low. Fear and greed index have turned fearful. You know, these kind of things, these kind of metrics, right, does tend to show when things bounce, especially like, you know, in extreme fear when everyone's panic selling. That's usually when we bounce. We're not quite there yet, but I can feel the sentiment getting a little bit lower, a little bit lower, a little bit lower. But we have gone through this many times in the last few years, and definitely in this cycle, right? Where it seems like, yeah, there's really no reason for us to go up. And then we do. That's just how the market is sometimes. And of course, the fundamentals outside of metrics still great. You still have like guys like Sailor and Metaplanet that's buying. Sailor's strategy may be added to S&P 500 soon, which would be a huge deal. That means a lot of ETFs will be picking up strategy and putting them in their portfolio now, right? So that's a big thing. Sailor, of course, is continuing to buy. Metaplanet is continuing to buy. A lot of other companies are continuing to buy. So the fundamentals, still great, right? Still great. This also shows accumulation. Accumulation addresses skyrocketing right now. Skyrocketing. That may be a surprise to some of you guys, right? Because a lot of you guys only judge health by price, but that's not the way to do it. You got to look at a lot of the things behind the scenes or under the hood. And this is one of them. The accumulator addresses is skyrocketing. Ever since Bitcoin actually got a little bit weaker, that's been happening because there are a lot of whales, big whales, that are buying behind the scenes that we don't even know about. We try to look at and analyze these buys, and sometimes we catch them, but there are so many others behind the scenes that we just don't know about. And they are loading up and preparing because they know this is temporary. Even if September turns out to be a bad month, but what about October? What about Uptober? And then November, which is a really good month historically, and December too. But from a TA perspective, there are still many thinking that, hey, we're about to bounce. Okay, this is showing that Bitcoin is extremely oversold. This is on a 3-day scale. And according to this trader, a midterm rebound or pump is around the corner. And here's another pattern, a bullish megaphone pattern. Again, showing that market is ready to bounce. So September may not be a bad month. Could be a good month. Maybe not a really fantastic month, but doesn't have to be. We don't have to end up in the red, right? And here's the thing too. Bitcoin dominance, it's not just about Bitcoin, obviously. ETH is still holding very well. Sol is holding well. Not as well as I like, but, you know, there are still some that are holding well. Bitcoin dominance has not climbed up yet. But when it comes to these charts, sometimes, Bitcoin dominance keeps falling. Sometimes it does bounce back to a key level and then bounce down. And that is when the final altcoin season happens, right? But right now, what's good about the situation is Bitcoin dominance is still low. So that's why so many alts, at least the big cap ones, are still holding quite strong against Bitcoin. That's another indication that things aren't over, that we're continuing forward. Because if right now we're seeing skyrocketing Bitcoin dominance back to the 60s and 70s, then I would be a little bit more worried. But right now we're not doing that. And that's very important. That's very important. ETH getting a whole bunch of attention. There's something big that came out today. It's a weird day to be releasing something, but I'll get to that. One of the co-founders, Joe Lubbins, thinks that 100x ETH is coming. I don't know about 100x, okay? That's a whole lot. That would put Ethereum in the trillions, I think. Tens of trillions. So probably not that much anytime soon, but can it do a 3x this cycle, 3-4x? Maybe. But, some obviously a co-founder is going to be very excited. He has billions in Ethereum, so obviously he wants that to happen. You still have a lot of stable coins. That's definitely on ETH and all the L2s based on ETH. Okay? And today, you got World Liberty Financial that launched. It's skyrocketed right off the bat. Now has taken a breather, but overall market cap is at 6.5 billion. FDV, which is the actual amount, okay? A lot of people get confused because there's a max supply versus circulating supply, and there will be a lot more distributed. It's only about a fourth distributed. But with what's distributed, it's 6.5 billion, but if you take into account the max supply, it's already at $26 billion. So the founders of World Liberty Financial and obviously the Trump family, which now has taken a large supply. I think they took 50% or something. They bought in 50% or something like that. They made a lot of money. Now, is it smart to go in World Liberty Financial right now? Probably not, because it debuted so high. But, after it settles down, it could be. But this is another reason why ETH is doing well, because this is launched on ETH. And I guess congestion is pretty high right now. I haven't tested it, but I think congestion is pretty high. All right. That's pretty much it. Today's a lighter day, lighter volume. Labor Day, U.S. market is closed. So it is what it is. I did mention about boot camp. It is starting, okay? It is starting on the 3rd. So if you want to join boot camp, make sure you do so. You still have a couple of days before. You just have to go into my Discord and click on the join boot camp. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. All right. Let's do some Q&A. Adrian says, is BeamX dead? Well, it's really focused on games. So it's not dead, but it's weak because it's focused on games. If games come back in altcoin season, then it'll be definitely alive. When will the market stop wasting time and finally give us our 24-hour all season? It's going to happen probably in November. I'd say we see things heat up in October, and then November is when we get true altcoin season. Oh, by the way, speaking of Discord, I need more clippers. A lot of clippers come in, And they're not clipping, you know, they're just taking old clips, or they're like clip farmers. I don't need people like that. I need real clips. People that want to help me make some clips, spread on social, make some money. Make sure you do so. Join the clipping channel. And the instructions are right on top. I need some good people to help clip. Space 5 says gaming is always the last section or last sector to pump. That's true. That's true. And usually what follows gaming is NFTs too. But I don't know about this cycle. I don't hear anyone talking about NFTs. But usually NFTs and gaming goes hand in hand. But I don't really think any gamers care about the NFTs. JM, I just talked about World Liberty Financial like literally 2 minutes ago. You probably want to have that settled down before getting involved. It's too high right now. It debuted at $7 billion. Let's see. Yeah, we're at 90%. September 17th. So we got to wait, unfortunately, 3 weeks. The third week is when we get that rate cut. So this week and next week, don't know what's going to happen. Don't know what's going to happen. If things continue to get weaker, or we just hold until afterwards and then we start pumping. And then, you know what? In October, we don't have to wait very long, because we have another FOMC meeting end of October, and you know there's a 49% chance of another, or 46% chance of another rate cut. So we may end up getting 3, and then in December, you know, we could get another rate cut. There's a 37% chance of it. So October, if we get one, that would also help propel things forward. Tiger asked, do you see AI tokens? Wait, AI tokens the main narrative in the new altcoin season cycle? No, I don't. I think it's not going to lead. It's going to be a sector that will do well, but what always does well is the base layer. So like ETH, Sol, SUI, AVAX, XRP, like the base layers, they will always lead the way. And then you have different sectors also doing well. Electronium 2.0 game changer. Have a look one day. Yeah, that's a really old project. Electronium. That was from like back in 2018. Joris, the price development since the halving has been bad. I don't know what you're talking about. What was Bitcoin's price after the halving event, and what is it now? I think you're a little delusional. What was Ethereum's price after halving, and what is it now? Theta will ever recover. You know what? I got off the Theta bandwagon a long time ago, because I talked to the team and then they told me they only had like a 6-person team, even though at the time they were worth like $6 billion. And that's what really turned me off. I'm like, okay. And then they try to go a million directions since then, and I have no idea what direction. They were going to NFTs and the gaming marketplace. They had Theta TV, which was like a Twitch competitor. I have no idea they're still running that. I don't think Theta is going to do well. Josh asked a good question. If you could only hold Bitcoin in one alt, which alt are you picking? George, I did. You can't expect all cycles to move exactly the same way. There are a lot more coins now than before. Now, if you're holding on a lot of alts, yeah, altcoin season didn't start yet. And you should know that because altcoin season didn't start until the very end of both of the previous cycles, just like it will for this one. George, do you think we'll ever get regulations to stop all the market makers from being blamed criminals by manipulating the market? I hope so. That's one thing that I'm actually looking forward to, that the CFTC actually, I think the exchanges are governed by the CFTC. I'm hoping that they actually look at the exchanges and make sure that if they're market making, they're doing it legitly, not illegally, which I think they are because no one's looking at them. These market makers must be making billions per month, man. The way they can move markets and liquidate people, I don't know how they could do it. I really don't. I'm sure someday I'll meet someone within a market maker world that'll tell me, but I don't know how they could do it without like getting all the attention on them. Like right now, it's kind of the Wild West in the U.S., which is actually a good thing and bad, I guess. Projects and exchanges and wallets and DeFi projects, there's like no regulations right now. Everything is being reset, right? And the SEC is not going after anyone right now. So, you know, there are a lot of things that are being done right now. But eventually the crackdown won't happen again, which would be a good thing. Hopefully not as strict as before, not like Gary Gensler era, but I think we need some of it. Thoughts on BNNMAR and other ETH treasuries? I think it's fine. The only worry is look at strategy. You know, even though everyone loves Saylor buying continuously all the time, he does issue a lot of stock every month in order to buy Bitcoin, right? So hopefully, I'm assuming BitMine is going to do the same thing with ETH. And as a shareholder, it kind of sucks. But as an ETH holder or as a Bitcoin holder, it's good. But like, I don't hold any strategy stock for that reason because he keeps issuing more. Jack Dorsey mentioned concerns that a two biggest mining pool could make a 51% attack. Is that possible? That has always been a concern. If you're talking about ETH mining pools and stuff, there have been mining pools that decrease their hash rate on purpose, just so they, wouldn't get too large and stuff. I mean, theoretically it's possible, but will they do it? Unlikely. And also, these mining pools, they're for the people, right? So people could also just leave and then it decreases. But yeah, with a lot of these mining pools, there's always concern. Back in the day, before China kicked out everyone, China had more than 51% of all hash rate for Bitcoin. And then they actually helped distribute it by kicking everyone out. And then now they're letting people back in, but a lot have moved to the U.S. I haven't looked at ETH. Well, ETH is not mining anymore. ETH is staking, but staking pools for ETH. I'm sure if you added all the big ones together, it could be pretty substantial too. Which L1 has the best chance to 5x this year? All of them, almost. In the top 20, I would say all the L1s have a really good chance of doing 5x. The only one probably maybe not a 5x is ETH because it's already too big. But even ETH may have a chance, to be honest. That would put ETH at like 20,000. I don't think it'll get up there, but you know, who knows? Who knows with all the accumulation that's happening with ETH treasury companies? Who knows? Maybe things get really crazy, Bitmine and others start buying like billions every day. You know, you never know what may happen. But I think everything else outside of ETH, even XRP has a good chance to do at least a 5x. BNB, Sol, even Doge, all these guys could do a 5x. Do you like what Cardano's doing with the Night Glacier drop? I'm actually not familiar with that. I did see, oh, I forgot to cover this. I did see, because of World Liberty Financial, Charles wants to do some kind of deal with them. And also Chainlink. So Charles definitely trying his best to expand Cardano as best as he can, which is good. That's what you want a leader to do. He gets very frustrated because people only judge, again, health by price, and Cardano is nowhere near its 2021 high. But he's doing everything he can to make sure that people pay attention, making sure that they're relevant, forming good partnerships, expanding, still trying to make it as decentralized as possible. He's doing all that he can. Eric says Bitcoin is going down to 83K this month. No. Even if we have a horrible month, it's not going to be 83K, man. You know how far we have to fall for that to happen? Even if you look at a calendar, even like 2022 was down 3%, 2021 7, 2020 was 7, 2019, okay, that was a horrible 13%. Even if we took that, you do 13% off of where Bitcoin is now, it wouldn't be 83K. So stop trying to fear yourself and others, man. Are we going to see red weeks till rate cut? Now that could be a possibility. That is not what I'm wondering. I think tomorrow will be a really telling story when the market opens. I remember last year, before we turned green, it was very red. Same thing in October. So leading up to the rate cut, can we see a couple red weeks? I could definitely see that happening. And then after rate cut, we have 2 solid green weeks to recover. That can happen too. But Bitcoin is already oversold right now. It has come down quite a lot. And plus, we have other factors that I mentioned in this video that could definitely drive us back up. So, you know, what do they say? What's that term, phrase? The anticipation, wait, what is it? Something about anticipation of something is worse than something itself. The fear of the fear anticipating the pain is more fearful than the pain itself. I forgot how the phrase goes, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Um, Usually that's how it works. People are more fearful of the drop that may come than the drop itself, even if it did come. So a lot of people, try to outsmart the market. And that's usually when you lose. I've done that countless times. So I try not to do it anymore. I try to remove emotions, try to just follow what I've been preaching, which is just stay calm, HODL, and DCA, right? But whenever I try to trade, whenever I try to say, oh, okay, the next 2 weeks could be bad, so I'm gonna sell off. And guess what happens? Those next 2 weeks, we don't sell off, we go up, and then it just sucks. So we do have some big macro events coming up starting Wednesday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all pretty big. I guess Wednesday is not as big. The beige book may not say a lot, but you do have two presidents talking, Fed presidents. Superflow has a really good point. I totally forgot about it. You know the phrase sell in May and go away? A lot of people thought that May was going to be a bad month and turned out to be great, plus 11%. And not only this year, last year, plus 11%, right? I don't know why 2021 we fell down 35%. That was during a bull year too. So goes to show you, sometimes, actually I do remember, that was when we fell down more than that. We fell down like 50%. From 64,000 down to 28,000. Probably a lot of manipulation from FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried back in the day. But you know what? Goes to show you, you can't always just rely on what has happened before. And then we got this too. The appeals court ruled that tariffs are illegal once again. So this is what go to the Supreme Court, and I don't know what's going to happen. I'm thinking if I was betting, I would say the Supreme Court does rule with the appeals court. I don't know. If you do get rid of tariffs, will the markets react positively? I think so. I think so. JRR asks, why is everyone so bearish in here? We're only 30 days away from the start of Q4 and all the bullish fun. Because people don't like seeing their portfolio go down, even for a day. And we've been down for a week, I get it. But when in doubt, zoom out and you'll be fine. Oh man, the new season Clash Royale came out. They introduced the Evo Baby Dragon. I've been playing it this morning, and it was I don't think it's that good. Now that I'm above 10K, I just stay there. I don't really move up anymore. There's too many people that have these crazy strategies, and they play really cheaply or stupidly, and you can't get a perfect deck. I get so frustrated still playing Clash Royale. But you know what? I'm calmer now because once you're above 10K, you just stay there. A lot of people asking about World Liberty Financial. Wait until it cools off. Super chat, can Link outperform ETH and go past 100 before cycle? And can I outperform ETH? Yes, because it's much smaller market cap. And Link is terrific, so there's always a possibility. Will it do it? I don't know. Link is still very, very, very far off from his 2021 high. All right, guys, I'll let you guys go on this beautiful Labor Day. If you're in the U.S., go enjoy yourself. Tomorrow we get back at it. So September is here. Doesn't mean that it has to be red. Okay? Stay strong, stay focused. I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time as usual, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one, guys. Take care.